What we're going to talk about today is the makeup, the attributes that make a producer successful. And we're going to rehash some of it today because we have a lot of new producers on the call, a lot of producers that are looking to break over that threshold. Maybe they're pushing 10 or 12 a month, which is a fantastic number. Maybe they're trying to burst into that 15 to 20,000 a month range, and that's what we're going to discuss today. I want to give a congratulations out as we go over our updates before we really formally start the call. I want to thank Mr. Jim Macri. Jim Macri has eclipsed the $900,000 mark in submitted premium. That's a big accomplishment. Congratulations, Jim. I know you were working hard to hit that. Not an easy task. Awesome job. Congratulations. I told everybody here at the home office that works with Jim that I would definitely throw that out first this morning. So with that being said, we're going to jump right into it. I don't want to waste your time because I know you have people to see today. We're going to talk today about key attributes that you find in every top salesperson, whether it's in the annuity market, whether it's in final expense, mortgage protection. We can hone it in, and we're going to talk about it specifically regarding the final expense today. But we're going to talk about those key attributes. What do you find in a top producer that makes them successful? And this wasn't just my observation. This is from being able to accumulate, stories and perspective from quite a few of you that I have the luxury and the pleasure of working with. And so just to kind of start at the top and kind of run down here, as we've talked about before, the top 20% of producers are going to earn 80% of the production and the money. So when you look at the top of that leaderboard, whether it's our leaderboard or anybody else who has a leaderboard, you look at the production, the top 20% are going to be your earners that produce and pull in the highest amount of income, obviously. Our goal is to get you to that point. We want you to be in that top 20%. And the other goal is to get everybody else who may be hovering around that number, maybe they're a little bit below their own personal goal or right around it, to help you get over the hump and achieve that goal. So with that being said, we're going to talk about topic number one. The first key to success is they love what they do. A top producer loves what they do. Not every day, but there's going to be those days where, you just want to, punch a hole in your dash, punch a hole in the steering wheel. Those days are going to happen. But then you're going to have a day like, I love, and I hope I don't embarrass him for saying this, I love him. Big John Burlett and I were texting last night. I love sitting at the dinner table with my family and getting a text or a message from one of you guys that I work with that says, wow, what a day today. So we have the good days, we have the bad days. Well, just like John yesterday, John went out and had a big day, had a $5,000 plus day. Those are the types of days that you live for in this business. But I can tell you this, John Burlett beats the streets and he's out hustling, he's out trying to see people from Monday to Sunday, sun up to sundown. He's trying to get as most out of his day as he can. But the point is that number one is you love what you do. You're going to have good days, you're going to have bad days, but all truly successful, highly paid producers love the career that they've chosen for themselves. We have to learn to love our work. In the beginning, when you first get into the business, you don't necessarily love it because it's tough. And just like if you're in the military and you're going through boot camp, you don't love boot camp. You don't love the educational process. Whether you're in the military going through boot camp or you're a rookie in the NFL and you're going through training camp, you don't love that because there's pain associated with education and growth. It's just in our genetic makeup. But what you do love is you love success. And so by us loving success, that's that carrot dangling out in front of us. I'm going to go through the tough times. I'm going to learn how to knock on a door. I'm going to learn how to set appointments. I'm going to learn how to do these things so that I can get to the reward portion of it, which is, I want to become excellent. I want to be successful at what I do. So don't associate pain, even though it's going to happen. Just learn to love what you do, and that success and that excellence is going to come along with it. Invest whatever amount of time that is necessary to improve and get that pain out of the way. And pay any price, go any distance, make any sacrifice to become the best at what you do. And I know that's easy to say on a conference call. It's easy to talk about. But to implement and go out and do it and to get bloodied up over and over and over, that is the tough part. But it'll pay dividends. When you look at the board, you don't see Dan Riddle. Dan Riddle did not start in this business doing $25,000 to $30,000 every month. John Burlett will tell you the same thing. Donnie McDaniel will tell you the same thing. Marie Titus. These producers that you see that consistently go out and do what they do, they didn't start right out of the blocks being successful. So you got to get those lumps and those bumps out of the way, and let's talk about how am I progressing. Let's track progress. But you got to love what you do, and that's point number one. I won't harp on that too long. Don't think about the monetary investment that comes along in your business and growing your business. Instead, think of the most important investment it takes to be successful, which is your time. So love it, learn to love it. That's the big thing, is learning to love it. Number two is this is a pretty big one that doesn't really get talked about enough, and we've discussed this ad nauseum. When you hear Marie Titus on a national call talking about goal setting, and you've heard Bill Miller talk about on a national call goal setting, David Lloyd has talked about it. When you hear these top producers talk about goal setting, they don't just say it to say it. It's not a fancy or a sexy thing to say. It's important to your business and growing, because you need to know where you're headed and where you're going, and you've got to have that navigation is going to be a goal. If you're just out there running around like a chicken with your head cut off, you may stumble into a sale or two. You may stumble into some success, but that consistent success will not be there. So have that goal. Let that be your navigator to lead you right to where you want to be. So this next point is decide what you want. I know that sounds pretty basic, and when I went over this originally when we first brought this up and talked about it, it was kind of, wow, that sounds kind of vague. What do you mean what I want? It's not just monetary success, but don't be wishy-washy. Decide exactly what it is you want in life. Do you want to be able to buy that house, or be able to build that house for the family you set yourself? Whatever the goal may be, set it as a goal for your sales career and determine what price you're going to pay for it. Everybody has a different goal. Some of the guys here in Texas may want to buy a bunch of land and be able to do this and do that. Some of the others, just everybody has a different goal. So according to research, it's only about 3% of adults have actually written their goals down. I remember talking about this in about 4 or 5 months ago. Have you actually written your goal down since we talked about this last? And these most successful people, as we talked about, they're movers and shakers. They're creators, they're innovators, they're top salespeople and entrepreneurs. I can tell you just 100% certainty, Dan Riddle will have a Post-it note in his car. Boom, right on the dash. Here's where I'm going to be this month. This is what I'm going to do. And talking to some of the other producers, James Irwin, whoever it may be, there's a goal. I think Bill and I discussed this when he was in town a couple of weeks ago. You have to have a goal, but you got to know exactly what it is, what you want. Don't be vague with it. Be 100% transparent and clear with yourself on what it is you want. That's really half the battle right there, is what exactly do you want out of this? Do you want to make a nice, comfortable living? Do you want to also be able to take care, cover lives, and really take care of your fellow man? What is it that you want out of this career? Number 3, we talked about this a minute ago, kind of led us to exactly what they want. We back our sales career goals with perseverance. So you can have a goal, and it's fun to talk about goals. Man, I want to write $20,000 a month. That's my goal. That's what I'm going to do. But you need to back it with perseverance. And how fitting that we had Mr. Bill Miller on a call talking about perseverance, what he had gone through in 2015, knee and back surgery. And he was, if we're all honest with each other, and I know Bill's on the call, Bill was pretty lenient with his story in terms of, what he really had gone through last year to get up over that mountain. So he was a little easy on himself, and I would have pumped it up. I mean, he had knee surgery, he had back surgery, and he still went out and produced well over 100,000 in submitted premium. It was an awesome year to see, not him go through that pain of the surgeries, but how he was able to persevere and move forward. So a key to success in sales is to back your goal with perseverance, and that willpower that goes with it. Don't talk about the goal, be about the goal. Are you getting your leads every week? Are you still just doing $4,000 or $5,000 a month in submitted premium and hoping that having your goal written down is 15 plus a month? Or are you going out and are you getting it? Are you still doing the same thing you did in 2014 and 2015 as of right now, the first month of 2016? A goal without perseverance is just, it's blind leading the blind. So have a goal, but have that perseverance to go with it. Make a complete 100% commitment to improve your career, and resolve that nothing's going to discourage you. You can go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of getting beat up, but you know what? Come Friday, I'm going to whip Friday. I'm going to win today, and we're going to talk about that little phrase here in a minute. But you can't get discouraged, because our business is a business of no's. Where most people can go in, clock in and out, and it's, they may have a bad day because the copier blew up on them or something. Our business is not that business. Our business is going to get told no 70% plus of the time and still being considered one of the best in your business if 30% of the time you close it. So we go through a lot of no's. We go through a lot of rejection. Mental toughness is a big part of it, but you got to have the perseverance to keep moving forward. Key point 4 is education. Producers are going to commit to lifelong learning. And one thing Matt and I and Eric and I do and have done for quite some time is we like to get on people, not about how you run your leads, not about what your presentation says, not about, how your daily activity works necessarily, but I like to get on people about why they're not on a call if they're not producing or not hitting their goal that they've set for themselves. If I have a Dan Riddle or Marie Titus or some of these other top producers, John Burlett, Bill Miller, David Lloyd, I rattle through these names. If I have a top producer on a call and you're struggling, why you're not on a call baffles me. Is it the immediate fix to the problem? No, but you're listening to other successful people, those that are out there doing it, and they're not just talking about it. You can see what they're doing. If I saw an email come through that said John Burlett's going to be talking about this on the call, and I'm a guy doing $4,000 or $5,000 a month, I'm going to be on that call because I can see what John Burlett's doing on the board. So, surrounding yourself with like-minded people and wanting to be able to pick their brain. For example, when we have a Friday roundtable call, and I joke with Josh Jones about this as well, and Donnie McDaniel. If I got a Friday roundtable call and I've got John Burlett or I've got David Lloyd, I've got one of these producers that I mentioned before that are great at what they do, and you don't raise your hand and ask a question, don't be bashful. That throws up a red flag to me. Ask some questions. Commit to lifelong learning. Your mind is one of your most precious assets. We talked about time, but your mind is. Continue to learn. Are you reading? Are you learning? Bill talked about it on his last call that he did. He's continuing to educate himself, whether it's whatever topic it may be, whether it's the psychology of the sale, whatever he's reading, he's got his mind working. He's still growing. He's not complacent with the current skill set that he has, though it's a very, very good one. We're continuing to sharpen our knife and get better at what we do. Number 5 is top producers use their time well. This is one that, is very, very, very underrated in my opinion. Being in this business as long as I have, I still get a little squeamish at times calling you throughout the day. I joked with David Lloyd about this the other day. If I call Dan Riddle and he doesn't answer, I don't get upset because I understand his time is one of the most valuable things he has in this business. Your time is very, very valuable. It's all you have to sell. It's your primary asset. How you use your time determines your productivity. Once again, this is not a clock-in 9-to-5 type setup here, and we all know that. But we don't take long lunches. If you take one at all, we got to keep our eye on the prize. And I see a lot of you guys that are so good at this. You're just so good at your time management that we could all learn a little bit something from most of you that are on this call about how you manage your time, because you've always got your eye on the prize and you're going after your goal. So if you're a new producer on this call, I'll urge you to take a nugget of information from one of the top producers when you have them on a call. If you ever have that opportunity on a Friday call to ask a question, how do you manage your time? What do you do on a Friday? What are you doing on Monday? How do you do it? How do you take lunch? I mean, do you just bring a sack lunch in the car with you? What do you do? What's your schedule look like? Some guys, it's not quantum physics, though we make it out to be. There's a sweet science to it, but it's not quantum physics to figure out the schedule, the makeup, and the activity that a producer does. It's just a matter of application. Can you do it? Are you willing to do it? So time is one of the most valuable things that we have, and make sure you manage that schedule. I had the luxury of sitting down with the lovely Johnson the other day, and she wanted to brush up on her schedule. She wanted to go over. I don't think I'm getting the most out of my schedule right now. I don't think my time is being utilized the best. And guys, this is $170,000, $180,000 a year producer that's right on the cusp of going over $200,000. Multiple convention qualifier. She's good at what she does, very good. But she wanted to sit down and discuss, how do you think I can maximize more time out in the field? Let's take a look at my schedule. We just detailed it all out. And it was a great conversation. So your time is valuable. Figure out, look at what avenue you're spending your time in. Are you, depending upon how many days you're putting out in the field, are you getting the most out of your time in the field? That's my biggest thing is when we're out supposed to be working, let's work. And let's work on our time management. That'll help you out in terms of overall maximizing your productivity. key point number 6 is that they follow the leaders. Do what successful producers do. Everybody in this business had a starting point. They had someone that they emulated or they learned from. That phrase, fake it until you make it, only applies for a certain amount of time. At some point, you're going to pick up key points from people. So follow the leaders, not the followers. Do what the other top producers in our company are doing. As most of you know, I mean, the conference calls allow you to be able to plug in and get interactive, but, you know, imitate the ones who are going somewhere. You know, when you hear, you don't ever have somebody that you know, got a set of leads, didn't even work them, didn't knock on a door. You don't want to hear from that person on a call. You don't want to be able to pick the phone up and call that person or shoot them a text and ask them a question. You want to hear from the best of the best. You want to hear from the cream of the crop. So emulate. Follow the leaders. If you're working on, man, I need to get better at setting my appointments, I just don't know how to go about it, you know, when you hear a top producer talk about how they set their appointments or how they knock on a door, what their in-home fact-finding is, what's their presentation like, emulate those types of producers and follow the leaders. Don't follow the followers. If you want to become one of the best, listen to the top producers and learn from them. I promise you, you'll pick some things up. Ask questions, and that will improve your sales. There's going to be a nugget of information that can come through on a call that you'd be surprised you pick up. It may be something simple, one little thing that you didn't even think about before that was so basic that could definitely change the game for you. You know, Einstein once said that it's not that I'm so smart, but I stay with the question longer. So you just continue to be a sponge, soaking up knowledge so you're able to continue and progress and grow. That's the main thing, is progressing and growing in this business. Number 7 is know that character is everything. And I can look at all of the names that are on this call right now, and even some of you that I haven't got to work with too long, but I know you have very, very strong character. Every name that I've rattled off on this call so far, plus a couple others. I mean, I've only been working with Ryan Bird for a few months, but the guy's got a character like concrete. I would be shocked and amazed if someone like Ryan, if I ever got a phone call saying, oh, he did something fraudulent. The guy has character. Dan Riddle, Marie Titus, these names that I continue to rattle off, this fits and applies to you. You know, your character is all that you have in this business. You do what's best for your client. And at the end of the day, guard your integrity, because it's a sacred thing. Nothing is more important to the quality of your life, not just in this business, but in society. In business and in sales, you must have credibility. We always talk about building that rapport and that credibility with the client. You're trying to sell them, but at the same time, they're selling you. They're looking you up and down. They're trying to read you a little bit. In study after study, the element of trust has been identified, and the most important distinguishing factor between one salesperson and another and one company to another is it shows that the client is patient and that you're kind-hearted, that you're genuine. And so, you know, don't let your character, don't cut corners, don't do something sketchy. Always keep your character intact. Because as we've always talked about, they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So don't cut corners, be straight up, and have that integrity intact at all times. And I know that that's something we can kind of breeze over on this call, because all of those names that we've rattled off and all those names that you see at the board, you guys always do it right. And you always take good care of your clients. But that's number 7. That's point number 7. Number 8 is something that we've touched on in the past that we just don't talk about enough. And I don't think we utilize this enough, which is, you know, use your inborn creativity. You know, we didn't invent necessarily the delivery notice. Not saying that is the most creative thing in the world, but, you know, think of yourself as a highly intelligent person, even a genius. Recognize that you have the greatest reserves of creativity. Whether that's how you knock on a door, how you call and set an appointment. Say out loud and over and over. I'm a genius. I'm a genius. I know that sounds silly, but we've done that in the past, and I typically would get laughed at when I did it, but it sounds like an exaggeration, but it isn't. The fact is that every person has the ability to perform at genius levels. We typically will try and condense down our genius. You'll never hear me call myself a genius, but you have that within you. Right now, the ability is there more than ever. So if you feel like you're in a little bit of a rut, if you feel like, I've kind of hit a little bit of a wall, I don't know about this approach, I don't know about that approach, I think my presentation's getting stale. You know, use that creativity that you've got. Those juices are flowing. It's just a matter of, are you going to use them? And are you not afraid to break out of the box and try something new to kind of break up the monotony if you are in a little bit of a rut? And so that's what this topic is really about. Point number 8 is about using your creativity. I know that I was shocked and amazed, and I'm going to be down in Florida later this week working with J.R. Johnson and Joe Chacho and Eric. We're going to be out in the field running some leads. And I can remember about 5 to 6 years ago, we were knocking on a door, and Joe decides to go through the gate on the side of the house and knock on the back door. That was taboo to me. I'm not going in your backyard. And he said, bro, don't be afraid. Just come on in, knock on the back door. And to him, it was nothing. But to him, that was something he picked up back in the day. That was his creativity taking over. He probably learned that from somewhere else, but I wasn't too inclined to knock on a back door. That was something different. There was some creativity. Break out of your comfort zone. Use some creativity. Number 9 on our top key points out of 10 is they practice the golden rule. The golden rule in all of your interactions with others: do unto others as you would do unto them. It kind of goes back to one of our other points that we made, which is character. It's something that kind of goes unspoken, but think about yourself as a client. How do you want to be treated? If you're not going to think about yourself as the client, think about as if you're sitting there with your mother, your father, your grandmother, your grandfather. Obviously, you would want some type of salesperson, whether it's for insurance or anything else, to be straightforward with you or your loved ones. You would want them to take the time to thoroughly understand, develop that need, and help them understand that need, and then show them step by step how you are going to show them the solution, how you're going to help solve that problem, in the most cost-effective way, of course. If this is what you want from your salesperson, do the same to your clientele. So in our business, make sure that you're treating them as if they're a loved one. I know that we get caught up sometimes with hectic schedules of that wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, in and out type approach, but give them the time. If they let you in and they give you the time, give them the time to sit down and develop that client for life, and just practice that golden rule. Treat them as if they're one of your loved ones. That one we could talk about all day long, because that's one of the most important keys on this whole list right here, is taking care of our clients so that we can not just sell them today, but have a client for life. The last point, number 10, is pay the price of success. As we've seen in the football playoffs, you've seen these teams come in. Some are going home upset. You've got the Super Bowl coming up. Every one of those teams that was in the dance towards the end of the playoffs, they all paid the price. This is very important because it's a great key to success, which is selling is for you to start a little bit earlier, work a little bit harder, stay a little bit later. Do the little things, and those are the things that we typically will kind of gloss over because we've been in the business so long. Is the little things. We tend to forget about those at times, but those are what brought us to the party. Those are what made us who we are. Is that fundamental building of a foundation, and that brought us to the dance and also took us to where we are. So keep building off of that. Don't let the little things be kind of cast aside. Don't waste time. Get going. Move fast. I know you guys have a lot of things to do today, so I appreciate you jumping on the call. Just remember, commit to the process. You have a process in place right now that has got you to where you are. Build off of that. Educate yourself. So commit to the process. Love that grind and win every day. You may get beat up today. You may get knocked down a peg or two, but you still have a lot of time left in the week. It's Tuesday. If you had a big day yesterday, keep pushing. If you got a slow day yesterday, keep pushing. There's a lot of time left on that clock. Big months ahead for you guys. And if you need anything, we're here to help you any way we can. Call into the home office if you need anything at all, 800-765-0711. You can contact me personally at 972-339-0191. If you guys need anything at all, let us know, and I hope you guys have a fantastic, fantastic day. We'll see you on the Friday roundtable call. Thanks, guys.